Welcome back to beautiful Vienna, Austria for Vienna Spring Break 2023. First women's division action of the weekend, and we have East Block from the Czech Republic taking on Swarm of Zürich in Switzerland. It's Benji Rees back with you in the booth. Delighted to be joined for the first time this weekend by the Viennese whirlwind herself, Christina Obermeier.
Hey Benji, hey everyone watching. I'm so excited to get this weekend started in the women's division. We've got a new team, Swarm from Zurich. I haven't ever watched them. I only know them from the mixed division. I love that they're showing us some women action. And then East Block, who did really well at Spring Invite.
They did indeed. A 3-3 record, but they managed to turn that into a second place finish. Last year's Czech junior champions, this year's Czech indoor champions, last year's runners-up in the Czech outdoor championships, and a 7th place finish at Spring Break last year as well. For Swarm, their first tournament of the year for them, they were runners-up at Swiss Nationals last year in the women's division. You can watch that final on ULTI.TV, by the way, as we are underway here, and it's East Block beginning the game on offense in the white jerseys with Swarm in the navy blue. And East Block looking to get things motoring off quickly here. Haveltsova centers here to Hirschlova. Shvetsova. Tlustar. Oh, lovely little space there. Can they continue into the end zone? Not quite, but that is just going to be punched in to the front of the end zone. And that was ruthless from the Czechs, 1-0.
Beautiful flow offense. They started in a horizontal setup and then moved from one side to the other side of the pitch and punched it in quickly.
Can't really ask for more from a first point than that if you're East Block, I think. Just wham, bam, thank you very much. Taking the 1-0 lead. They've got a much larger roster this weekend than their opponents. 22 of them in all compared to just 13 for Swarm. So hopefully they'll be making that, from a Czech perspective of course, hopefully they'll be making that numerical advantage count, just using those extra legs to their advantage.
I'm pretty sure they will at the end of the weekend. For now,
first game of the
fresh.
weekend, it matters a bit less.
Yeah, but we'll see at the end of the game for sure. I think a light drizzle starting here.
Disc popped up slightly, and that's a brilliant layout snag there to keep possession alive from Schemp. Just past the outstretched hand, finds Voslova. Carosio, back to Schemp. Looking towards the end zone, still not quite in, but on the precipice now, having to swing all the way across, gets them some good central field position here. Camilla Carosio. Looking at the end zone, player coming towards the front, still not quite going to be in yet. The continuation, oh, it just sneaks past the laying out figure of Schemp. Stucker just couldn't quite stick it on her.
Schemp flying all over the place to keep possession alive, but East blocks disc for a first break opportunity.
Finding the space towards the sideline, there's the deep shot. That probably didn't come out quite how they intended, and the defender got in position nice and early there, did Hagman. Just bladed out of the hands too early. So another opportunity here for Swarm. Isolating Carosio in space underneath. She resets back to Schemp. Voslova, lovely little lead pass there on this sideline. Carosio with the shake and bake downfield, but I think maybe just guilty of locking onto the receiver there, and good awareness coming through to knock that down to the ground from Valterova.
Working in that little space there on the near side.
There's the deep shot again from East Block. It's going to be another floaty one. And I'm not necessarily sure whether Dvorakova was the intended target, but I don't think East Block minds, as that one just too far out in front for Dvorakova, and it's back in Swarm's possession.
They seem a bit rushed. And
I don't think that's unfair. Given right back to East Block. There's another deep shot. This one's going to tail towards the far sideline and just macked it further on in the end, did Janska.
Another one of those floaty hugs. Maybe there's still time in this game to clean the execution up a little bit.
Shemp, front and center of her own end zone. Trying to sneak that one through. Good awareness there, laying out from Anna Kellermeyer to keep it alive. And then stealing through, just getting a march coming from behind Anna Urbankova. Janska will pick up. Centering pass to Madalova. Continuation now towards the far sideline, and Valterova finds the target, sticks it on to Dvorakova, and it's a break to East Block, taking a 2-0 lead.
But they clean up their offense in the end there. Beautiful red zone play.
I think the East Block O-line looked in really good form, but at that point it didn't look like either side had really hit their straps. Certainly I think Swarm will probably be frustrated that they had those red zone opportunities and they couldn't convert.
I bet. We can't forget it's still Saturday morning, first game. You're not quite dialed in yet with your team. It's their first tournament as well.
I don't know what you're on about. I was bang up and ready and raring to go this morning. Not at all. No, I totally understand that. Yes, first tournament of the year, as you mentioned, for Swarm, first game of the weekend. There are going to be some teething problems.
And also, you have to communicate with maybe 5 other people in the morning. That's your team, and it's a team of 13 players. There is a bit of a difference in size.
It is also the rain is beginning to come down a bit more heavily now, and it is certainly dropping a few degrees Celsius as well. So not necessarily ideal playing conditions anymore. Dina had the lead pass there to Bell, but too far. Oh, that one right on the chest, and the second attempt grab from Lepshi, I think, was out of bounds, and it is going to go back into Swarm hands.
Tight defensive coverage from Tutuyan, who will pick up for Swarm.
That one, oh, a little bit behind, but not for the first time. Second effort grab there. I love the heads-up awareness of Swarm that they've demonstrated on these first few points. Monas into coverage and slapped to the floor.
Swarm are working up the line and forgetting that they have the rest of the field to work with a little bit.
Zitova. Big swing across the field, snatched down by Zaluska. The continuation, though, off the hands of Shifnerova. Dina with the gratuitous ground check. Low into the gloved hands of Ida Monas. Monas back to Tuian. A little bit high, but again, good focus to make the catch there from Hackman. Monas slides to her knees to bring it in. Gets it towards that far sideline where Bell is looking for an option. That is really heads-up play there. She read that one all the way and smuggled through to get the poach block. They get it off the sideline now to Shifnerova. A little bit behind, brilliant adjustment there from Lepshi. Looks like it was Hodachova who was able to come in and make the poach block, maybe? No, it was Kotrobova. Zaluska opening up the arm. Can she chase it down? Just never quite got into top gear there. And agonizingly out of reach.
Dina overrunning her on that deep shot, and it seemed like she gave up just a little bit as the throw was standing in the end zone waiting for players to run underneath.
So just giving the disc a little wipe, getting that excess moisture off the underside of the rim. Making sure you get as much purchase as possible. Inside break to Monas, who dishes it off. The lefty, Dina, back to Monas, running the 1-2. And now here comes the put, but I think this is undersold. Oh, just about got away with it.
So close, had her hands around it, but can't just quite keep it there.
And Kotrobova is just deciding that actually, you know what, I'm going to let someone else pick this up. Mashkova is going to be the player to do so. Zitova uncorking a big shot of her own, but that one is just going to tail onto the field behind. The format of the women's division here at Vienna Spring Break, 12 teams in 4 pools of 3. So along with East Block and Swarm in Pool A is also catch-up from here in Austria, from Graz.
Exactly. They also represented Austria in the mixed division last year and decided to go single gender. Both of the teams are here today and tomorrow, of course.
They are indeed. Struggling a bit with the high stall, putting some air underneath it, but not for the first time at this point. I think that's the third block, in fact, for Kotrobova. Looking for the inside there. Hagman was all over it. Dina's trying to marshal the troops. Calling for someone to come underneath. High throw, but Brea brings it in. To Tuian, back to Dina. Trying to get the option down the line. Jumped into the end zone, no, not quite, but on the line. And that one is going to stick into Dina for the score. Swarm on the board, but they're still down 2-1.
Another long point, but kept composure there on the Swiss side to get their first point on the board. See the replay here, just in front of the end zone, and then quick pop pass to Dina.
I don't think these long points behoove Swarm very well, because obviously when you've got fewer numbers, I feel like you want to try and keep points as short as possible. You can keep players cycling through, but if they do drag on and then they grind, you know, your players are staying out there for a long time. They're not getting the opportunity to come off, hydrate, stretch. It makes the impact of having those fewer legs more keenly felt.
Absolutely agree. But it's part of the fun of playing Ultimate, you know, battling until you give everything, battling until you can't no more.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Oh, of course you do, Benji. You've played Ultimate before.
Everything was just so easy for me.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Well, and we all know that that's not true. You might be able to see, by the way, on the field behind us, we've got 2 pitches in the stadium here. There is the other Czech team, the familiar pink flamingos of 3SB, going up against, I think that is Chicas from Munich, Germany.
Yes, exactly.
Those 2 teams are in Pool B. Just trying to work out where the brick mark is. My voice slightly broke there. Please ignore that.
We wouldn't even have noticed, I think.
Not sure about that one. Kluster. Small in stature, but plays a lot bigger than that.
Absolutely, Kluster's really the one player I would really highlight in this East Block team, because she is all over the place and young, but so skilled.
Yeah, they get contributions from all over the roster, though. As Kluster just about sneaks that past the arm of the outstretched defender. Kikchas, who's also known. Trying to dink and dunk their way through. Everything feels quite compressed at the moment.
So in general, there's two ways to work against the zone. The little passes and the big passes around and through the zone, and that's what they did now. East Block switch up the little passes for bigger passes to break the cup.
Looks like Swarm were a little bit of not sure whether to match or zone, as that rising throw is just a bit too high for Kluster.
Sometimes that confusion really helps you in defense.
But can force, you see those windows and maybe you rush things ever so slightly. I think maybe just showed slightly too much of the underside of the disc to the wind there, and it just pushed it higher than they wanted. Into the center of the field, tipped to the floor. East Block picking up with Hadova. Simple one throw conversion into the end zone to Dolejalova, and it's 3-1.
Perfect red zone there, just one cutout and a big step around the mark to get that into the end zone.
I think this is something you see quite a lot actually with the Czech sides, is that they're not necessarily a fan of the patient, we'll take our time, walk over, build up. Usually it's let's pick it up and go. What's the point of waiting around? We came here to play Frisbee. Let's do it.
In general, what is the point of waiting? If you always get an advantage from picking up quickly, the people that just lost a disc, they're now on defense, they're not going to be set up yet.
If you're switched on, then there should always be those opportunities. There are times when you see someone pick it up and everyone's at the other end of the field and you kind of wonder, what have you achieved by doing that? But usually I'm with you. I like the quick pickup. Let's get it rocking and rolling.
I mean, you need at least one other person that knows you're on offense right now, but
if it's something that you're ready for, you train for, then there always should be someone who's waiting to come and play that, come and to proverbially play ball with you, as a straight run through down from the pool from Anna Urbankova. She's going to chase it down coast to coast for the bookends.
Showing off the speed is Bukova, running through that, intercepting that first pass and then switching immediately to go deep. Just what we talked about.
That's the thing. She knows if she commits to that cut, she streaks deep, that someone is going to be there, is going to see that, pick up and put it. Just, I think Karosia was not aware of how quickly she was coming through, and this time it's Anna Valterova, who is more than happy to provide the goods, lashing it to the back of the end zone, where Urbankova makes the catch, and it's 4-1. I see that Stef Pazzo has arrived with a stack of toasties.
We love that.
Treating us right. Many blessings. So East Block got something cooking here, up 4-1. A little over 20 minutes into this game. Here, ULTI.TV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break 2023. Benji Rees alongside one of the organising team, Christina Obermeyer. How many editions of Spring Break is this now?
5th. Started in 2017, then it got intercepted by something we don't talk about, and now we're back.
Here's the deep shot down the sideline, well judged, still not quite in the end zone yet. Zitova looking for an option. Still count rising, just sneaks it and slashes it in there to Kotrobova. And it's 5-1 now. East Bloc, they've really picked up speed and they're just bulldozing Swarm right now.
They had a bit of a slow start, some miscommunications in the early points, but now they cleaned it up and they've just managed to take every break opportunity and make it.
Hello to everyone watching in the YouTube chat. I see our very own Rahel Toshnerova is alongside. Not here this weekend, of course, because she has more pressing things to attend to. But I'm sure we'll be keeping an eye on the results this weekend. Probably interested in the game that's going on actually in the distance. 3SB versus Chicas, where I think 3SB are 3-2 up, but my eyesight is not what it used to be.
Yeah, 3-2. I'd agree on that.
Thank you for the confirmation. I'm getting old now, Christina.
Are you?
Yeah, I know.
The thing is, everyone's getting older every day.
So true. Well, I really feel it now. I've got 4 cats now. What happened to me? Here's Breyer. Small centre in swing to Tatuian. It's not quite the continuation there. See Tatuian just kind of, again, just go through almost the shadow throw afterwards of how she quite wanted to release it. East Bloc, that one is low and that's never going to reach the target. Force did a good job of putting pressure on that around. And here's the bang from Corosio to the target. Oh, just enough pressure to prevent Tatuian from bringing it in.
She had position and the disc was just a little bit too high. We see that intense mark putting pressure on. And
it was a little bit what we talked about from East Bloc, is that Tatuian, then instantly she strode deep to try and see if they could take advantage of the quick turnover as well. Just didn't quite have the connection. That one is going to bounce off the hand of Madalova. So Swarm again looking to get their second point of the game on the board. Swinging around the back, Corosio. Still count just ticking up a little bit here across the pitch. Speared out of the air there by Stuka. And a little bit low.
Taking a shot at her. That Frisbee was so quick, speedy. She couldn't quite keep her hands around it anymore.
Yeah, tough catch for the receiver there, Bell. But East Bloc having some offensive miscues of their own. Corosio looking into the backfield. Still rising. And find a target you like. Give them a chance to make a play. And Tatuian comes up with the goods, 5-2.
I would always like her to be the target from my throws. That one-handed grab, stretched out arm just over the defender. Let's be honest, she wasn't in the best position. And it looks like a high stall throw, but look at that, just stretching her arm out.
Yeah, just gets to the right side of the defender. Boxes are out slightly, but again, still not going to wait for it to come right to the chest. Goes and attacks it with that outstretched right hand. 5-2 for East Bloc here. Still sitting pretty at the moment.
Yeah, we saw them, bit of a miscommunication here and there.
Some players heading towards the canteen. Bit early for a beer, you feel?
When did you have your first beer yesterday, Benji?
That's different.
It's flying.
Yeah, the airport doesn't count.
Okay.
It's like there's no time in the airport. Time zones don't exist there. It's international waters. That was the only beer I had yesterday. It was very good.
Oh.
See, this is what I mean about growing old. I can't even drink properly anymore. Please enjoy alcohol responsibly, by the way. I don't want to get in trouble. Paul's going to be a bit short, and I think rather than go back to the brick mark, Vavrova wants to bring it in from the sideline. Goes back to Hadova. Low. Haveltsova. Finds Slusta. Quick dish off. Back to Haveltsova. Now they're trying to find that break side flow and continuation. Oh, just didn't put that one quite far out in front enough. And really good work there by Tatuian to close the gap. That should have been the score because the break side continuation was money until it wasn't. Shem with those red gloves on her hands. Now trying to run the offense after the turn. Fakes the deep look. Just losing footing ever so slightly. It's Tatuian as she comes off the side of the pitch. Still count rising though. Can she find an option? And you could tell that that one got the wrong edge on it as it came out of her hand.
She seemed a bit rushed for options there. Didn't pay attention more, and
There's
one throw goal for East Block, denied by Tatuian.
Yeah, again, it's the same principle. See the opportunity did Kluster to try and steal a march, but the throw hung up a little bit, and giving up that size matchup allows Tatuian to get in front. There was the initial block, so second D of the point for the number 21 of Swarm.
Another one.
I'm trying to avoid calling their defense swarming, but there comes a point when I might have to. The lefty, Dina trying to manipulate the mark around, going towards the far sideline, Hagman. All miscommunication, goes to the floor, and again, you can see, straight into the end zone. No messing around, someone will pick it up and then we'll get going from there. Oh, a ruthless inside forehand into the hands of Dolejalova. That was a beautiful put. Chest bump afterwards for good measure. 6-2. What a throw.
The third time of asking, they managed to catch the disc in the end zone. All three throws that were taken into the end zone by East Block were, I think, good opportunities. Right decision. This time around, no defense here there whatsoever.
Just look at the way she just sits down on that, gets the body weight a little bit low to get it underneath the mark. They're marking that. We used to call that very honestly. They're all staying on that open side, and it means that if you can break the fours, you can get the break out into space. That there's so much room for them to work with.
Especially in the end zone, if you start from the static, one throw is often just enough to put your players into a position where the defense could never go.
Eastbot 6, Swarm 2, your current score. Stucker downfield for Dina. Dina, this one's going to float a little bit. Going to provide the opportunity for the East Block defender to pilfer it away. Slightly out in front, Trebova doesn't see a problem with that. There's the deep shot. Judges that one beautifully into the hands of Klobliskova. And furthest player forward there, Lepshi sees the opportunity. There's no one I really like for that continuation. We've got a timeout to use. Why not take it here? And actually, we're going to take the opportunity to take a little timeout as well in the booth. Get some water on board, hydrate, stretch things off. Don't go anywhere because the coverage of this game here on ULTI.TV continues on the other side.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI League. ULTILeague.net.
Women's division action here at Vienna Spring Break 2023. East Block versus Swarm. And the Czechs up 6-2 on the Swiss, if I can get my words out. Bringing the disc in off the timeout. They've got a vertical sent with a player isolated at the front of the end zone. And just the stutter gets the defender the wrong way. Continuation into the end zone. Mashkova finds the target in Lepshi. And the timeout works a treat for East Block, 7-2.
Yeah, it was perfect position just in the middle of the field. I don't know if you've ever done that at practice, but we do that quite often. Just practicing your red zone. And it seems like East Block does that a lot as well. At least they knew exactly what to do here, isolate a player and then give them a continuation.
If you're the defender in that position, you're taking that isolated player at the front. How do you defend that?
I wouldn't defend it one-on-one. I would tell someone to put themselves into the break space. They don't have to react, but just to have another defensive position person in the area will already confuse the person with the disc just a little bit and get you like a second of a split second it sometimes needs to change the decision making of a player.
I'm with you. I would not mark that one-on-one either. The ball floats and it's going to land on the other field in the distance. Shemp will bring it in from the brick. Rather have it central as opposed to from the sideline, even if it means you losing a couple of yards in the process. Checked in. Oh, miscommunication. Brilliant reactions there from Corosio to snag it with the layout. Potential run through, but no, the outstretched left arm does the trick for Corosio. Now Shemp, that backwards cap and the red gloves. Slip it out low to Tuian. Continues. Monas back to Tuian. Corosio. Seems like there's a bit more rhythm about this possession from Swarm.
They really seem dialed in, their offense.
They've just been able to reset the disc more consistently. Corosio with those hands like glue at times. Underneath is Hagman. Little lead pass down the line to Bell. Bell with a rising stall count. Can she get the break off? Oh, it's a little bit behind this time. Shemp can't adjust. And they come unstuck in the red zone again.
I was just gonna compliment their resets because they were so spot on. But East Block using their opportunity now.
Gonna huck to half field. Pumping the backhand. Still ticking up. Obankova releases underneath. Now trying to get the disc off the line. Sneaking it through into that window to Valterova. Quick release on the backhand to Janska. Janska, oh, she spots the receiver in acres of space, break side. It does sit up and allows her to just set herself and bring that down to take East Block into half, 8-2.
East Block really turned on the Jets the end of that first half. Closing it out. Perfection. See that quick release backhand and no mark on her yet.
Yeah, she's got time to pick her spot. Puts a bit of air underneath it, but more than enough time to just judge that one before bringing it in the number 99, Adela Stupkova. And that is 8-2 and half. There's no real time gap at half, but there is the usual kind of change of ends, change who's pulling, receiving.
So Swarm will start on offense in the second half.
Yep, going left to right as you're looking at it from our cameras.
You know, I've played many of the East Block players all my Frisbee career since they're in our region, but the way they've dialed in this year is just different. It looks so composed and clear what they're doing. I love that.
Yeah, there's always been talent in the Czech Republic, and it's just a question of, you know, can they get it? Can they knit it all together? Is the development coming through? And you know, we've seen the success they've been having at youth level, and they're now progressing that through to playing against senior teams as well. It's very encouraging.
And 3SB have been on the European map for quite some years.
Yep.
I remember them ordering kit because they didn't think they would make it to UCF, but then they did, so they had to rush order to get kit that was numbered right.
And now I think that is one of the most recognizable kits in Europe.
It is.
Not just because obviously of the color scheme, but you see the flamingos and you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Although I'm not seeing the inflatable, actually, having said that.
Haven't seen it yet. The
Maybe as
pool toy.
the week goes on, we'll...
I hope so. You can't travel without your mascot.
Don't really see teams bring those mascots anymore. I say anymore. I'm not sure how often it ever did used to, but it was always nice when you can kind of, you look around a field site and you know exactly who's where because you see, you know, you see the kit or you see the big inflatable or whatever. Like, they've got that visible sideline presence that I think really helps. Gives that team that identity. Swarm just breaking their half-time huddle. East Block all ready to go. I think one of the advantages actually of having that big team is it means that you can get going quickly. You can keep pushing that pace, which Swarm maybe aren't quite able to do with, you know, not even 2 lines worth of players. So they've, you know, naturally probably going to take a little bit longer to get ready between points.
Yeah. If the opposing team is okay with it, give them a little rest.
Yeah, nothing wrong with taking a much-needed breather every now and again. Going with the blading pull to begin the second half.
Oh, and he's put them out with the zone.
East Block just keeping their opponents guessing a little bit. Now that quite prominent feature, I think, in Czech Ultimate is their enjoyment of a good zone defense. High over the top. Dina. Oh, it's a little bit offline for Chi. Stretch, but couldn't bring it in, and oh my word, that was utterly bizarre. Blocked at basically point-blank range by Václava, and it just fell back into the thrower's hands, and from there, East Bloc capitalise. That is one of the more unusual things I've seen on a Frisbee field.
Do you think so? What just happened? I'm still a bit confused there. Picks up quickly, tries to throw the huck, it's blocked, and she catches it again. How much composure do you have to catch that Frisbee again after its point block?
Composure and awareness. When you know what they say, don't you? Catch your point blocks. No one says that.
No. I don't think so.
But East Bloc, to their credit, they didn't miss a beat, did they?
No.
Did not miss a beat.
Probably half of the team didn't even see it happen.
Well, that's one of the things I can tick off my bingo card for the weekend, I guess.
The point block catch.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it wasn't really on I didn't make a bingo card for the weekend, and if I did, that probably wouldn't have been on it. But you know what I mean, the metaphorical.
The thing is, I remember calling a game in Spring Invite when one of the East Bloc players did the exact same thing. It was blocked and they caught it back on the layout.
You've got to be aware for this sort of thing.
Play training those. Or East Bloc.
That one really speared onto Monas. Going back to Corosio. Run through there, getting a big hand in the way is Stupkova. Janska is going to stride over to the disc. Picking it up with a gloved left hand. Passing it into the bare right. Urbankova has been very influential for the Czechs. Dvořáková. I think that one might go back on a foul, potentially. No, apparently not. Just an incidental contact, apparently. A clip of the heels. And then the continuation goes down the line from Valterova to Putnova to make it 10-2.
She might have tripped over her own legs. It looked to me as if there was some kind of contact, but maybe she just cut her out.
I must admit, I was surprised to not see something called, but we're just watching it. We're not out there feeling what's going on. So again, always, I'm sure if she felt it was a foul, she would have called it. So
I'm pretty sure as well. Also, maybe she knew she was beat up the line, and putting herself into that position would maybe not have been the most fair thing to do. Saying this had to go back, even though the player was open, she was beat. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm on the same page. I get you. I get you. So East Bloc just having a little bit of discussion about what they're going to do. Judging from the hand gestures I can see, I imagine this is just precisely how they want this zone to be spaced. But ready to pull. It's a little bit of air underneath it. One of the better pulls we've seen so far today.
Pulling is definitely something players could improve on, because you always have to do it. The one thing, that always happens in every game, like so many times, is a pull.
Yeah, every point, you're either going to be pulling or receiving the ball, and it does annoy me that teams don't prepare for it a little bit better. Stucker on this sideline, sees that little seam through and centres it to Ria Shem. To Tuian. I don't think she wants to go all the way to this sideline. But they're finding a way to just piece their way through. There's the swing across. Dina has plenty of time to watch it all the way into the hands.
Great give and go. The hander set.
Now the Czechs just trapping them a little bit on this sideline. There we go, that's a bit more expansive. The blade over the top opens up the space on the far side. And I think Monas was looking at the next pass before it was quite in those gloves.
It's so interesting how the hardest passes get caught easily, and then for the easy clap catches, people make mistakes.
Almost take it for granted. Doležalová to Tlusta. She was thinking about the deep shot, but just gonna put that one back in the locker for now. Haveltsova. Back to Doležalová. Reset, swinging around the back. Again, trying to get that break side movement going. And bang on the money to Tlusta for the score.
Another beautiful reset to the other side of the pitch, opening the break space.
I mean, textbook dump swing offense.
Yeah. Eastblock has had perfect composure on those resets at times. They've struggled a bit, to be honest with you guys, but overall you can see that they have a plan.
What I like about this is the timing, because it's so often you see that space develop and you feel like, okay, let's go. But what you don't want to do is make that cut too early, because that means not only are you already in the space, but the defender's there as well. And it really gums up the movement. So those cuts are coming late enough that you can make that throw into space and let the receiver run onto it, rather than have to kind of fake them off or just really bullet it at them.
So 11-2. Eastblock have been on quite a run, and to me it seems Swarm isn't far away, but at the important points during these possessions, Eastblock managed to just put enough pressure.
So I think you don't need to, like, a scoreline like this doesn't necessarily need to be miles out in front. Sometimes it's just a small difference every point that adds up. Quick turnover for Eastblock. Putting this one out into space. Enough room to chase that one down. The left hand of Eva Lepshi makes it 12-2 now. Just 3 points away from the victory, the Czechs.
Yeah, they've been stifling Swarm with that zone of theirs. And then the interesting thing about a zone offense with 4 people in the cup is if you manage to get that point in that first line of defenders, you can easily switch and get a fast break. Because there's always enough people around the disc, and you can cut easily, and there's never the offense is never going to adjust to become defense that quick.
There's a beeping going on in the background that I don't know if you can pick up on screen. I think it might have to do with maybe a sneaky little drone that we might see if we can get in the air later today.
Oh. Tell us in the comments whether you like the drone footage or not, because I know there's both sides. There's people that are like, I'm not so much a fan of it, but me personally, I love it. I think it's great to see the structure of offense. You get a completely different angle from atop the field.
Yeah, I feel like as the technology improves, more drone coverage is probably here to stay.
Yay. That's good.
Dina just sees Urbankova's back turned to find that through. to Carosio, but it's in and out of the hands of Dina. And again, stop me if you've heard this one before, the quick pickup from East Block. There's the deep shot. Urbankova's in position, and Urbankova reels it in as well.
It's just tiny individual mistakes that make it so hard for Swarm to score points.
I thought when that hut went up that maybe there was a bit more air underneath it than it needed to be.
Yeah, I agree. I had the same thing in mind, but Eastblock show that they really dialed in, ready to work with a little more air underneath their hucks.
So 2 points away from victory now, East Block, but you can see, you know, they're still getting coaching. They're not just, you know, going to try and play it out necessarily. They still want to keep their standards as high as possible.
I get that, and I know there's a lot of people on that roster, but still, every point that you don't have to play will help you in the at the end of a tournament. It's the bit more legs, the bit more concentration that you're still going to have at the end is always beneficial to close out games early.
Ball lands out of bounds on the far side. Vodslava. Check herself. But now in Switzerland.
Apparently she's coaching the Swiss mixed team together with her husband. Mixed national team, that is, I guess. This information is provided by Rahel Doshnova.
Looking forward to seeing all those national teams back in action at EUC this summer, as that throw just comes a little bit strangely out of the hand. East Block, chance to go within one of the win here. This could be the penultimate point, should they punch it in. Mashkova. Isolated that reset. Plenty of space for Kotrobova. Down the line, no. Faking it instead, looking to try and get an option a bit more central. Continuation, slightly behind, and maybe a little bit casual, potentially, on the reception.
Yeah, it looked a bit too casual, but also she probably didn't expect the disc to go back like that.
Dina. Big fake of that flick. Going underneath instead. To Tuian. Just trying to direct traffic downfield. High, floaty one. That's ruled in by Stucker. Winding up the arm. Getting the air underneath the big shot from Vodslava. Ripped away by Tatuian. Haven't seen enough of that this game from Swarm. Chi is right on the end zone line. Can the Swiss punch it in? Going for the backhand. Finding Dina. And for the first time in a while, Swarm back on the board, 13-3.
And it took them a lot to get that point. Eastblock has not put off pressure yet. But a very deserving point for Swarm. Just in front of the end zone here.
I mean, they worked, what, the majority of the length of the field for that? Certainly within their own, from their defending red zone all the way to the other end of the pitch. So I just didn't really quite... I think you haven't seen enough of the deep game from Swarm, to be honest. Everything's felt quite compressed and congested. And, you know, even if the deep shots don't always come off, just by throwing those a bit more,
you get more space.
Create more space for yourself.
Absolutely, I'd agree on that. On the other hand, if you throw those deep shots and the Czech players are always on the back of your hip, just contesting that, it's going to be so hard to keep that. Keep throwing those, because if you already know they're going to be D'd, I'm just going to not take that risk.
Carosio pulls. fielded, and the first pass is to Hadova. Gluster in the centre. Lightning quick on the release. Now out into space. Here's Haveltsova. Gluster slicing and dicing their East block. 14-3.
Seemed like the Swarm defense was not quite ready yet. There was always an open player or two at times, and East block had no trouble whatsoever to hit whoever they wanted in space.
East block can be fearsome to deal with when they're firing on all cylinders. (14-3) the current score. You're just seeing a replay of that last point.
Game point for East block if they can get the D here converted. And it would take so much for Swarm to get back, but maybe just punch that point in would...
It's still a big confidence booster, I think. Gets you a little bit of positive momentum going into the next game, and I don't know if I've ever seen a comeback quite this big, but as long as East block have to put that last point in, technically it's possible.
A 10-point comeback, or a 10-point run.
11-point run.
11 point
it would have to be, and then 12 to take the win. Yeah, I don't see it, but who knows?
Anything can happen with Ultimate.
It's one of the best things about it, is that you can't just, you know, drain clock your way to a victory. You have to put that final point in.
Yeah, I love that about the sport.
So Dina seeing this front four for the Czechs. Little pop inside, getting the crash available from Schemp.
Beautiful put in the middle.
1-2, pump fake there. Dina going around, no. To Stuka, to Tuyang. I think just wanted the little dish back off. Again, just keeps resetting those stall counts, opening the windows, blade over the top. Slightly awkward, but Dina gets her mitts around it. And when they need to, they are just able to take those resets and, again, just generate a fresh stall. Schemp tries to find it through just past the bidding defender. Brilliant effort, but really good focus as well, because when you get a defender who's coming across you quite so like that, it's so easy just to let that concentration drop. But Stuka made it work. 14-4.
It seems like this time around, Swarm have dialed in on their zone offense. They rushed it at times where it was necessary or possible, and then in front of the end zone, they chilled and waited for the right opportunity. It was a contested throw, but still a great catch.
So 14-4, 10-point advantage for East Block, one away from victory. 10 minutes left until cap comes on, so whatever happens, it's game to 15. Here's the ball from Swarm. Hadova picks up. Something a bit different from Swarm's defense as well. Beautiful slice through though, and they're beyond midfield now. Just going to do those quick bounces and give goes. Vavrova, Haveltsova, Kluster into the center, running through, shredding all the way into the end zone. Dolejalova for the score and for the win, 15-4.
That last point showed us pretty much how East Block played that whole game, looking for option and taking every single one of them.
You can see, I think maybe at the end of it, that some of the Swarm players were just getting ready to go out there for the next point. They just wanted to keep playing, and that's a wonderful attitude to have. Doesn't matter the score, but you know, we still want to improve this. We still want to get out there and play, but just in this matchup, East Block had too much for them.
I would agree. But still, they have so much Ultimate left this weekend to play, and you have so much Ultimate left to watch.
Yes, we're going into the Open Division for our next game. And I had the list and I've lost it again. It is catch-up from Graz here in Austria up against Fab Flying Angels of Bern, and that is 20 to 12 local time, so just under 20 minutes time. Plenty of time to stretch off, get a little bit of water on, and ULTI.TV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break will see you after there. Enjoy the replays from this game. For Christina Obermeyer, I'm Benji Reese, saying we'll see you on the other side.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.TV. ULTI.net.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ULTI.TV we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.